In this problem, we need to complete the Venn diagram using the information that we have about blood types. So the way blood types work is that you can have A-type blood, you could have B-type blood, and you can also have an RH factor. And so when you do have the RH factor, that is indicated with a plus. If you do not have the RH factor, then that's indicated with a minus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out what blood type goes in each of these sections of the Venn diagram. Notice that there's 8 sections to the Venn diagram, and there's 8 values over here. So once we know what blood type goes in each section, then it's very easy to just put the number into that section. So let's start with the center. This is in set A. Looking right here. We're in set A. We're also in set B. So we have AB. And then we're also in the circle of the RH factor, so that means that should get a plus. Now I'm going to move over to the part of A that overlaps with the RH factor, but not B. So we're missing B, but we do have A, and we do have the RH factor. So that gives me an A plus, or A positive. Then, similarly, we can come over to the other side of the Venn diagram, and I'm looking at the section that is in B and has the RH factor, but not A. So that's B positive. Okay. And now I'm going to look at the section that is in set A and set B, but not set RH. So we have A, also have B, don't have the RH factor, so we're going to call that AB negative. Now, when I go to the last portion of set A, we've got blood type A here. We don't have the RH factor, and we don't have B, so this is just A negative. And then over here in set B, we have B negative as the 4th part of set B. And for the RH circle, we are not overlapping with A or B in this case. So when I need to figure out what goes in this last 4th section, notice that there's also blood type O. And that's really just to indicate that it doesn't have A or B. So O is not a thing, it's an absence of A or B. And we are inside the RH circle, so that's O positive. And that leaves us one more section, which is outside all 3 circles. So that's a nothing for AB and a nothing for the RH factor, so O negative. And this O negative is called the universal donor. And the reason why is because it doesn't have any component that can adversely affect someone. So suppose you have B negative blood, you give this B negative blood to somebody who has O negative blood, then the B factor can make them sick in some way, which, ask a science teacher about that, I don't know. But at any rate, so you can't give B negative blood to somebody with O negative blood, but you could give O negative to the B negative person. So that's how that works. All right, so now all I have to do is just pop all these numbers in. So I'll start with A positive, and that's here. So this is 40%. Actually, let's go ahead and put it in the spot where it's supposed to be. There we go. So that's 40%. O positive is 31%, and here's the O positive. And then B positive is 10%. And then we have AB positive, which is 6%. Okay, so that takes care of all the positive blood types. So now for the negative blood types, we have A negative, that's 5%. And then we have O negative, which is 6.5%. And B negative is 1%. And then we have AB negative, which is 0.5%. So if we look at this chart, we can see that a person with AB negative blood has the rarest blood type. So it would be most unusual to find somebody with AB negative blood. However, if you do have AB negative blood, is that the worst case scenario in terms of if you needed a transfusion? No, because somebody with AB negative blood can also take A negative, they can take B negative, and they can take O negative. So they can take any of these four, and so you would just add up those percentages, and that's what works for an AB negative person. Now ideally you get your exact blood type, but in case of emergency, when that's all you have, that will work for them. And that's how you do that problem.